Welcome, everybody. It's Cam from the Santa Sells Houses team. Thank you so much for joining our live webinar tonight. I'm going to get my screen share going here. Bada boom, bada bing. And let's dive right in. Okay, buy a house before Christmas. So everyone here tonight is logged in because they're thinking about buying a house in the near future or maybe next year. They know somebody that's thinking about buying a house, and they're just looking for a little bit more information on maybe I should buy now, maybe I should buy later. There is a chat function. I'm going to type right into the chat box. If you have questions during the webinar, feel free to type questions here. That is highlighted for everybody. And I promise I will get to them at the end. Let's dive right in. So tonight, what we're going to talk about, why you should buy in 2020 rather than 2021. November, December are the last 2 months of the year, and it's going to go by very quickly. If you're thinking that you are going to buy in 2020 or wait till 2021, chances are you're still going to be competing with other home buyers. So it's best to get prepared and to put a plan together to help you capitalize on opportunities as they become available. We're going to talk about what to expect, what a multiple offer scenario is, why you want your own buyer's agent to help you navigate this whole situation. And then our 3 best strategies that we at the Santa Sells Houses team use with our clients to help them succeed during the buying process. Last but not least, we'll talk about Locorum Rewards, our exciting new partner. We are going to give away a $50 credit to one lucky attendee. And like I said, if there are questions, we will get to them at the end. Let's go. So why should I buy a house in 2020 as opposed to 2021? First and foremost, interest rates are bottomed out. They've gone as low as they can go right now. The Bank of Canada has said that they're not going to go any lower. They are saying that they're going to hold them until 2023, but there's no reason to expect that they're going to go down. If anything, they are going to go up once the economic recovery plan starts to take effect from the government of Canada. Similar to that, home prices are also going up. I know that in London, everyone's been paying close attention to the rising average sale price is now over 525K. It's up over 20% from where it was a year ago. And home prices are continuing to go up, and we expect them to go up over the next few months. Increased cost of construction is something that is taking place. The construction industry, some materials that they're using are in short supply. Prices for lumber are increasing by 40%. Tradespeople are charging more money than they ever have, and that is also contributing to rising housing prices. Anyone that's thinking about selling and moving into a new build, that is more of a climb than it used to be. A thing that you can take advantage of with these rising housing prices, the sooner you buy, the faster you're able to start capitalizing on equity gains in the market. And if you're paying rent right now, stop paying rent, start paying your own mortgage, and build equity. Just ride that market as it goes up rather than not, right? If you're thinking that you're going to buy in 6 months from now, but you're in a position to do that now, why not take advantage of the rising markets and not miss out on those potential equity gains? A counter argument that we hear often of why you shouldn't buy in 2020, people think, well, prices have done this. They've skyrocketed. They're very high right now. They've never been higher. Of course, prices are going to come down. Why wouldn't they? There's no way that this can happen in the future. I would say, why do you think prices would go down? And the only reason prices in London would go down are decreased demand. Okay, so people can no longer purchase houses, which is unlikely given where mortgage rates are at. An increase in inventory. So we need a large influx of inventory to happen, and that can happen in a few different ways. Construction's already maxed out and the prices are going up, so we're not going to get more inventory there. Default mortgages, well, it didn't happen earlier this year when no one was paying rent and people got laid off, so it's not likely to happen in the near future. And the fact that people are having such a tough time in the buy side, they're not listing their homes. So there's no reason to expect an influx of inventory, which would be the leading reason and really the only reason that prices would go down in London. So last but not least, if you think we're going into lockdown again, you might decide you need to improve your lockdown situation, or You want to be in your new home before Christmas, okay? Now, rising housing prices. These graphs show the average sale price from October to March since 2016, okay? The interesting thing to notice here is prices through October, November, and December are fairly level. Say for in 2018, where December was off the charts. October, November, December, fairly flat. Once January hits, prices start to tick up. And on average, the average sale price from October to March over the past 5 years has increased 11%. And in any one given year, the lowest amount that they've increased is 6%. So take our sale price for the end of March, it's in 2 days, add 6% minimum, but likely closer to 10%. And that's what we should expect the sale price to be in October, which is close to 600K FYI. So get ready for that. Similar, this is an interesting graph to look at, and this graph is basically identical across these years. This is new listings from October to March. Towards the end of the year, they decline sharply. December is the lowest number of active listings any given month of the year, and once January hits, new listings skyrocket heading into March, okay? This is a reason that prices kind of level off towards the end of the year. Buyers have less options, so there's less buyers in the market. Competing against each other for the remaining inventory, but there is still competition. So prices don't decrease, but they also don't increase because there's not that crazy amount of competition amongst buyers. Now, those are all reasons to buy in the next 2 months rather than waiting until the future. If you're in a position right now, a lot of those things probably make sense and you probably want to capitalize on that sooner rather than later. If you are going to be getting into the market in the next 2 months, like I said, you should still expect to compete. A multiple offer scenario, simply put, is a scenario where more than one offer is submitted on a property at the same time. You've got multiple buyers competing for that house. In most cases, it's set up on purpose by a listing agent to try and get the most amount of money possible for their client, the seller. It could be because of supply and demand, right? Like I said, the main reason this happens is because there's just not enough supply in the market to satisfy the demand from the buyer pool. Think back to earlier this year when everyone was racing to the store to buy up all the toilet paper. There was just way too much demand and not enough supply. They could have probably doubled or tripled the price of toilet paper and people would have still paid it. That's what's happening in the real estate market. You've got a lot of people competing for limited resources, limited assets. Oftentimes it's planned. Like I said, the listing agent, their job is to get the most amount of money for their seller. And if they can create a scenario where they've got 10, 15, 20, 50 buyers competing against each other, that's likely how they're going to get the highest sale price for their client. They do it on purpose. It's for the seller's best interest, not the buyer's. I think we all understand that. This graphic kind of shows us what the difference between a traditional offer would look like versus a preconceived multiple offer scenario. In a normal market, a balanced market, you can make an offer anytime. And that still happens from time to time in London, but for the most part, we're seeing multiples. When you make an offer anytime, you go back and forth with the seller and you negotiate and hopefully you end up with an accepted offer. In a multiple offer scenario, you are told to make an offer at a specific day and time. Then the listing agent is going to give you a little bit of information, tell you how many people you're competing against, give you a chance to change your offer more money. And once the seller has all those best offers, best and final offers, they're likely going to pick the best one and it's over from there, okay? Things you get to know just a little bit. You're gonna know the number of competing offers when you're competing with other buyers. They have to tell you that. And that's basically all the important information you're gonna get as far as competing goes. Understand, the seller and the listing agent do everything they can to get the most amount of money from you. And by keeping you, the buyer, in the dark, you have to take your best shot. You can't leave anything on the table or risk losing that house. So that's by not giving you the information, that's how they get their best offer from you. There's a few other things that they'll tell you, but like I said, the most important thing is the number of competing offers. This is the big meat and potatoes. A lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't they give us more information? Like I said, they want your best offer. They're not going to tell you you're not the best offer. They're not going to say to you, this is how you compare to somebody else. This is what their offer has versus yours. Oftentimes, you don't get any of that information. Sometimes you'll get to know about stigmas in a house. Stigmas are things like if there was a death on the property or if the house was used for a grow op or something like that, it's a stigma, which is still a gray area. There's no legal requirement to disclose a stigma to a home buyer. But in London, we find that most times if the seller knows about it, they do disclose it. Feedback from listing agent is big. If you submit an offer, you're competing against 5 other people, say, you don't get the house. If you get the house, you know you had the best offer. Great. That's all the feedback you need. If you don't get the house, the seller or the listing agent might say to your agent, just so you know, your client had the worst offer. It was the lowest price-wise, and you are the only people that had conditions. It's valuable information. It might not be fun to hear, but it's valuable information to take with you when you move on to the next house and you put together your next offer. Okay, that feedback is massive, and it gives you a little bit of insight into what you're going up against when you're competing. Now, why do you want your own buyer's agent? In most real estate transactions, you got a seller with their own agent, you got a buyer that should have their own agent. Okay, imagine you're in court. You're in court because you're on trial for murder. Okay, the defense, they've got their own lawyer. Now, would you want their lawyer to also represent you, or do you want your own lawyer? I'm not saying that real estate is life and death, like a murder trial, but why wouldn't you want your own representation? Someone that is there to protect you, look out for your interests, do what they can to help you and nobody else. They're dedicated to you. Obviously, you want someone on your side to help you out, okay? They should understand your goals, and that's gonna help them to assist you. They should be the expert, okay? They should know what they're doing. They should work with a lot of home buyers. They should be able to educate you on the market. Last but not least, they should leverage their relationship with other realtors to advocate on your behalf, okay? You'd be surprised how little communication there is from some agents when they're submitting offers on behalf of a client. Your agent should be going out of their way to make your offer seem as attractive as possible. And you know, there's a lot of different styles to this, but oftentimes it's you butter people up, okay? You kiss butt, and that's how you build a relationship and you get the most amount of information for your client as a buyer's agent, okay? Now, why would you want to work with the Santa Sells Houses team as your buyer representative? Great question. First and foremost, like I said, you need someone with experience, okay? Somebody that is out in the market every day, working with other agents, working with home buyers, looking at houses, and has the know-how and the experience to guide you through this, all right? So year to date, as a team, we have 3 agents. We've completed over 50 buyer transactions, and more than 50% of those were won in multiple offers, okay? So we have experience working with clients to win in multiple offer scenarios. It's not our first rodeo. We know what we're doing. We have dedicated buyer representatives. Myself and another agent on the team only work with home buyers. We don't work with sellers. So we know what we're looking at from the buyer side. We don't think about what the sellers do. We do, but we really understand what to look for as a buyer's agent. And I talked about the market experience. In order to do 50 transactions, you need to go into a ton of houses. You need to see a lot of stuff. You need to write a lot of offers. Like I said, on a day-to-day basis, we're doing more than your typical agent who over a year does less than 4 buyer deals in a year. That's your average London agent based on number of agents and number of transactions. They do less than 4. We've done more than 50. It all starts with our buyer system, and it is systematized, and it starts with a pre-approval. As a home buyer, you don't have any business looking at a house until you're pre-approved for financing. Whether or not that's related to a house that you have to sell, or if you're a first-time home buyer, you need a pre-approval from your bank or a mortgage broker, somebody that can tell you, you can afford this, all right? Once we have that information, it's important that we meet for a buyer consultation to establish your goals. What are your wants and needs? How long are you gonna stay in the property? To get a baseline of what we're looking for. Once we have that, we need to start viewing properties sooner rather than later. And my philosophy is, in this market, the more showings, the better. You're just gonna get more information, you're gonna have more experience, and you're gonna quickly learn what this market is like, okay? Submitting aggressive offers is important in this market. You're not gonna win with a so-so offer. It's just not gonna happen. A lot of buyers in this market write 1, 2, 3, 10 really bad offers that they had no business even submitting. And we're going to be able to guide you to a position, a place where you're going to not spin your wheels. You're not going to submit those loser offers that have no chance of winning. It's true. There are a lot of them that come in. Hopefully you feel like you can listen to your realtor. You know, with most of our clients, all of our clients, we have a great working relationship. There's trust, communication there. And it's important that you do listen to your agent. Like I said, they're going to stop you from writing those losing offers. Stay educated on the market. You have to know what comparables are selling for. If you've gone to view some houses that have sold, you need to know how many offers they got. What were the sale prices? Were they firm? Were they conditional? What are other people doing in the market? Hopefully you got some feedback if you wrote an offer. Pro tip, follow the Santa Sells Houses team on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn for access to our Monday market updates. It's exactly what it sounds like. On Monday, we give you an update on the market. We take a look at the previous week's numbers, and it gives you really good info on what we're seeing in the market for London. Okay. Our three best, we're going to give this to you on a silver platter. Our three best strategies to win in multiple offers. It's free. We're going to give it to you right now. Okay. We use these on a day-to-day basis. All right. First and foremost, you as a home buyer need to cooperate with a seller. You need to compete with home buyers, but you need to cooperate with a seller. Okay. Think, for example, you go to a yard sale. You walk up and you're looking around and you see all this stuff. This person is selling their stuff. And you say to them, that is the ugliest lamp I've ever seen in my life. I will only give you this amount of money. What's there? Is that a good foot to start that working relationship? You want something from them. You're going to bash what they're selling right in front of them and hope that they want to work with you? No. You need to cooperate. Like I said, you need a good relationship. You as a home buyer, you're partnering with this seller until closing, until that house is yours. You need to get off on a good foot and you need to have a good relationship. Cooperate with them. Understand the market conditions. It's a seller's market. The seller has all the leverage. They got 50 people that want to buy their house. Why would they choose you? You need to be their best friend. Also, your realtor should build a relationship with a listing agent and be their best friend. Like I said, be nice, play nice, sympathize with their situation. Ask them how it's been going. Try and get a little bit more information that might give you a leg up. You'd be surprised how much information you can get if your agent is nice to the listing agent and not calling them 24/7 and bugging them and asking them questions that really they shouldn't be asking them and asking for information that's already on the internet for everyone to see. Don't do that. Okay. Sometimes the listing agent will tell you, just so you know, this is the number one thing that my client cares about in an offer. Maybe it's a specific closing date. That's the stuff that makes your offer more exciting than somebody else's. Bully offers. A bully offer, simply put, an offer submitted prior to a seller's preferred holdback date. Why would you do this? The only reason you would submit a bully offer is to avoid competition. Maybe you get the house for a little bit less than you would pay if you were competing with 15 other people, okay? But it's to avoid competition. It's really everything that the seller wants. Their expectation is this. If you're going to offer them this, why would they go for your offer if they think they're going to get this in a couple days? It's not. It's firm. No conditions. It's a sure thing. It's likely above list price. That's their goal. Like I said, it's to avoid competition. You don't always use a bully offer. It's an art form, I like to say. All right. It takes a lot of know-how to pull that off properly. Escalation clauses. This is a little known thing that we like to put in our offer on behalf of our buyer clients that basically guarantees that they'll get the house if the listing agent and the seller are willing to work with it. Take it in this example. We've got 4 offers there. Ours is the one at the end with the heart underneath it. And the red portion is our starting offer. So we said our offer is $300,000. We use round numbers here. We would lose. The first offer's they offered more right off the bat. But our escalation clause says we will beat any better offers by $5,000. Just take it for example. And our escalation clause then bumps us up above that first offer. Okay. Obviously, you set a max price on your escalation clause. It's fully legal. You can use it to guarantee that you're going to get the house and not pay $50,000 more than the next best offer. That's what everyone's nervous about. Well, what if I offer this, but the next best offer is $50,000 less? Well, if you use an escalation clause, you're only going to beat them by $5,000 or $10,000. Conditions are important to think about. You think of it from the seller's perspective. Do they want a offer that's conditional on a bunch of stuff? No, they want a sure thing. Okay, I'm not saying do that, but from their perspective, it weakens your offer if you have a bunch of conditions in it. The most common things that we see, financing and a home inspection, all right? There are ways that we can go about getting these conditions out of your offer. And it starts with your pre-approval and communication with your mortgage broker. If they say, yeah, you need a financing condition, we have to do it, okay? If we can send them the MLS listing, get an idea, if you're pre-approved and the ratios are awesome, and we say, this is the purchase price that we think, they might be comfortable with you waiving your financing condition. We rely on, they're the money experts. We rely on their input. Home inspection, if we've got time, we do a home inspection before we submit an offer. Pre-offer home inspection. Bada boom, bada bang. Other things to remember when you're writing an offer. Offer what you're comfortable with. Do what you're comfortable with. You have to be confident in what you're writing on paper, okay? If you need those conditions, you do it, all right? If you can't, there's often a difference between what is it worth versus what's somebody willing to pay for it right now. And some people think that's the same thing, but really it's not. If you think a house is worth 500, but you think in order to win in competition, you're gonna have to offer 6, do what you're comfortable with. And if you get outbid, you get outbid, move on to the next one. Price, like I said, not the only important factor. Deposit, closing date, conditions, etc. It's all a big package that they use to compare side to side, okay? Trust your realtor, hopefully, and don't get too emotional. We know it's an emotional thing, but try to stay as rational and fact-based as possible during this process. We are essentially operating in a pandemic. Our number one concern is the safety of our clients and the clients of others. These are just some of the things that we're doing to make sure that we stay safe. Gloves, hand sanitizer, etc. Do a lot of things virtually. No overlapping showings. We have people sign COVID declarations so that they're not sick, they got no symptoms, etc. Don't go to open houses. There's no need for an open house. Locorum Rewards. Locorum London has an amazing rewards program that you can access just by working with the San SL's houses team. We are their exclusive real estate partners. You can earn up to $1,500 to shop locorum.ca just by working with us, all right? All the vendors on their shop are local. You support local with your big purchase, and there's vendors on there that can help you with home renovations. If you need some clothing, you got a family member, it's Christmas coming up, you want to do some online shopping for them. You can even get gift cards to your favorite restaurants. Maybe you're moving into a new neighborhood online, and it's just by working with us that you can automatically be enrolled with the Locorum Rewards. We are going to give away a $50 gift card at the end of this program, I promise. To recap, why would you buy in 2020? Interest rates, super low. They're not going any lower. They can only go up. Housing prices are going up. We want you to start building equity now. And we've talked about where we think the average sale price is going to be at the end of March if things continue the way that they have been. Typical offer, you make any time. You go back and forth with the seller. Multiple offer. You're told when to make your offer. You get a little bit of information back and forth. Obviously, you need your own buyer's agent. They're going to really be on your side, protect your interests, advocate on your behalf. Hopefully, you get as much information as they can from the listing agent to put you in a better spot, give you advice, information, keep you educated on the market. It's a big job, so don't just work with anybody. We talked about our 3 best strategies to win in multiple offers. Cooperate with the seller. You want them to be your best friend. Bully offer can save you some money and avoid competing with other people. And the escalation clause is massive. It is legal. Don't think it's not illegal. It's not legal. It totally is. You can use it whenever you want. Locorum Rewards, like I said, their program is amazing. You get access to that just by working with the San SL's houses team. Now, here is our contact information. If you have questions, you're looking to buy, you know someone that's looking to buy, they need some assistance navigating the market, or they have questions about where we think the market's headed, contact us today. We're more than happy to meet with you and get started on this journey. Even if you're thinking about work, 6 to 8 months out, it's our job to start working with you now to prepare you for what's coming, okay? That is the end of the presentation. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. There we go. Now let's see, do we have any questions? Time-wise, 24 minutes, not bad, we'll take it. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna pull up our attendee list. attendees. Perfect. And I'm going to randomly, hey Siri, give me a number between 1 and 10. And our lucky number 3, Rich Swan, congratulations. You just won yourself a $50 credit to the Locorum shop. If you need some advice on how to spend that, I would say buy all taco gift cards at Dos Tacos. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And if you have questions, reach out to us. Cheers.